Okay, so first of all, I want to thank all three of you for this beautiful film. And I want to also introduce all of you. And we can start with Mats Grorud, who is the director, who you saw before. And then we have Rui Tenreiro, who is we're calling you an art director, and we will talk later about what that will entail.
Sure.
And then we have Abu Hassan, whose story this actually is. And we thought that you maybe had the possibility to see the film before, but this was your first time.
Yeah.
And it's actually about your family with their real names and the resemblance of everybody. And can you just, without crying, tell us about
I think I have
how
cried
you feel?
enough now. But it's every family in this film is my family, and everyone who's or any refugee from any country should, I think, will pass same situation, which is not so sad. Yani. Actually, I miss it sometimes. So, but it's strange feeling, and also strange to talk in front of a lot of people. Well, I miss most of these people in this film, like Rosette, my mom, and Lutfi, my father, and my grandfather, and Wardi is my, she can be my sister daughter, and I am the one who's with pigeon.
You are the one with the pigeons.
Yeah.
But you are living in Helsingborg.
It's not any more pigeons, one of the sad things.
But yes, because this is the story of your life, or many stories put together, but many that resemble your life specifically.
I haven't been in 48, I wasn't born, or what do you think, guys? And 67, 72, 82, it's a lot of years. But I get it from my grandfather, and then I was also disappointed from Lutfi. And I was, and until now it's still same situation.
Who is your
Lutfi is my father. Yeah, he's like the one who's doing nothing and give up. And Rosette is the one and I think that's why women get pregnant and give birth, not men, because they are more tough or stronger.
And better at fixing the fans.
Yeah, better than just, you just keep saying, it's dark, it's dark. Just turn a candle.
Because you are the third generation living there now. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
Wardi
third.
will be the fourth.
Yeah, Wardi is the fourth, and hope is the last. Then we should be some solutions. But hope.
Yes, because I think that there's one specific line in the film where they say, when you say, or somebody says, through your script, that children have a way of, they have their methods of surviving in difficult situations, and I think that maybe even everybody has, in a desperate situation, has a way of surviving. Would I be correct if I say that that is one of the things that you want to tell us with the film?
Yeah, well, I wrote the script after, living in the camp with Abu Hassan and his family for 1 year. And one of the things that struck me listening to Abu Hassan was, so you grew up in the 80s when there was the war. Yeah. And also when you talk about the camp is that you talk about quite a very difficult situation, and it was a very difficult situation growing up in war, but at the same time you make jokes.
Yeah.
And that, so when I was making the film, I didn't want to make just a sad story about, a very sad life in a refugee camp. I wanted to show life in the camp as something, people do manage, and they do find hope somehow, and they do manage to laugh and to, and this is what I loved about, meeting you and your family and everyone in the camp. I'm not saying that everyone's happy all the time, but that people find ways to survive and find ways to be happy and to enjoy life the best you can. despite everything that's happened. I mean, in Norway we have 22nd of July. You have 70 years of very bad history, a lot of bad things that have happened. And this contrast between all the bad things that have happened, but still that you managed to find, it's not just hope to return, it's many different kinds of hopes in the camps.
But not just to return, it's now to survive, I think. And also, it's not just our problems, or because now, you know, as we talked before, it's not just only the Palestinian who become refugee. We were refugee in Syria. Now the Syrian are refugee in Iraq, or before. You know, this circle should be any solution. We are not talking about solution or politics now, because the film is we are just talking about. And this film come because of Mats and our friendship. And we should thank all Mats for staying 1 year in the camp, eating a lot of onion.
Didn't you also come to the camp as a child? Or your mother was working there?
No, when I was a child, my mother was working as a nurse. Also in Sweden, this was the case. Like many people from Sweden went to work in Lebanon as nurses during the wars. So I was always in Norway, but she would come and show pictures. So the pictures you see in the film are a mix of my mother's pictures that I would grow up with, and pictures of Abu Hassan's family and other friends in the camp. They're private pictures, yeah. So I grew up with the pictures, and my mom would tell me that when there was peace in Lebanon, she would take us. But when there was a war, we didn't go, no.
And speaking of pictures, Rui Tenreiro, you are the art director, which spoke about what that really means, because the whole imagery is made by you're looking at photographs. You have never actually been to this place?
No, that's true. Mats was in the camps, and we had a lot of references, and we had to go through several stages of drafts to make it look more and more like the real thing. So it was, we didn't invent it. It was all historical reference. And even the villages, they were taken from actual pictures, and it was a lot of research done into that. And each scene we had references for each scene, for everything from plants to cans, wires, everything. So that was all compiled by Mats from pictures he took.
Oh, Abu Hassan.
Yes, but it's so realistic. Today, when we're looking at the poster, you could point at the house on the poster and say, "That's where I lived."
Yeah. First, I thought Mats talk about film. I was like, it's a joke or real, and I was really surprised. Like, this is real film. Like, and it's almost because I felt it's too much. Like, for me, like crying or watching. I went back, but it was mixed feeling. Sometimes it's sad.
But what is the situation now in the camp? Because your family is still there.
Well, something made me really sad in the film when they went to take Wardi from school because of like economy. Like now I can say will be no more school for anyone from FN because like they are not going to support FN anymore, and they are going to shut down all the schools. It's the last year. So it's not anymore for one year. It will be hundreds of thousands who are not going to educate. And then I don't know what you expect from people who's not going to be educated.
And there's no other idea about some other schools, you know?
It's governments. All we can do is we try, me and Mats, to scream. Maybe someone will hear or listen.
So we have to scream. Do we have to scream, Mats, do you think?
Well, I think, you know, this is having why I wanted to make this film was one thing is to show people in Sweden or Norway. The film will be shown in France in cinemas. It was shown in cinemas in Turkey, so it's being shown a lot around. So it was important for me to try to explain people in Europe. Okay, there's now 4 generations of Palestinian refugees living outside and even inside in West Bank and Gaza as well, since 48 or since 67. But to try to show that these are people living in these camps. And we tried using puppets to, well, I'm an animator, so I really didn't have any other choice. But we wanted people here to really try to empathize with the characters in the film, that we feel it's as much our story as human beings, and not just, you know, somebody else that's refugees. Oh, it's about somebody else, and it doesn't really matter for us. So I made a film for people in Europe and in the West, but also for the Palestinians. When you come to the camp, you know, people give you food, they give you cigarettes, they give you coffee, and you're
Sometimes
really treated
beer.
as a, you know, a guest of honor. You know, people are very hospitable. And living 1 year in the camp, I was quite, what's it called, shy, that I never had a gift from me. So the film is in many ways my gift back to my friends and their families in the camp. Because people also in the, you know, Palestinians also, that's the feedback, because we showed the film in Ramallah and Gaza last 2 weeks ago. Like also to tell the story, their story, that the film can work to, I mean, to tell the story of Palestine to new generations. Yeah.
And what was the reception in Ramallah? Because it was a Palestinian film festival, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a Palestinian film festival. One thing, because the Palestinians you have Palestinians in what is now Israel, then you have Palestinians in West Bank who are separated, then you have Palestinians in Gaza who are separated, then you have Palestinians in Lebanon or Jordan or also separated, or you have Palestinians in Sweden. So you have all these separations of people who are in the same families. So a lot of time people don't know exactly, like a Palestinian in West Bank will not know exactly how it is to live in a camp in Lebanon. So also for Palestinians, this is something they feel, or what I've been told, that they also learn things from seeing the film. And we also hope that, you know, the film is the Palestinian story, but we also hope that it's a film like Syrians. It's about, you know, having a background where you grew up in war or leaving your country, living in exile somewhere else. It's about, you know, what you consider home. And so many of these issues, I mean, it's not only the Palestinians who have deal with these issues. If you're from Syria or if you're from Kurdistan, I mean, if you're living in exile, these are things that you have to deal with. Yeah.
And it's not about Palestinian, or it's about hope. It could be here, anywhere. Like trying to tell, don't give up as much as you can, because there is a lot of people who's having their lands and in Sweden or in USA or wherever, and they give up. Sometimes you get divorced, you give up for small things. So when people when they see these films or these stories, I think they should go out from cinema much more stronger.
And what about the key? Let's talk a little about the key. What is the key? Of course, is the symbol of going back, but I think that many of the key is more of a symbol nowadays, because the houses are not there, or somebody else is living in them, but the key is still a very strong symbol for any refugee camp. Or is it specific for the Palestinian camps, or is it all over the world? Do you know anything about this?
Well, you know more about the keys than me, Abu Hassan.
Do you have a key?
My grandfather brother have one, and he still fight, or they used to fight my grandfather and him about the key, and they didn't return until now. So, but the key, it's become like a symbol about return. There is no home, or I think there is no door also. It's all about you know, it's a logo for your case. You know, you have a case, and this key is like to prove for all the world, like, this is mine. And to return, we can't lose or kill the hope. This is for me. They can be strong, they can do whatever they want, but you know, we will keep screaming. Just make some noise when they are sleeping.
Yes, because you were talking about that the schools will be shut down, and
Yeah, but what we accept when schools shut down and like people get sick, there is no hospitals, nothing to do. You know, you lose your homeland, okay, you will live in the camp. Everyone, you know, like Stockholm going bigger like this, we go bigger like this. We thought in the film, okay, we want to see God, but not in this way. No one will reach Allah in this way.
no, because before you were speaking about that the sun, there are places in the bottom of the camp,
Yeah.
the sun never shines.
Yeah, it was me and Bassam. Me and Mats. We used to go to a friend called Bassam, and in their area in 2003-4, they didn't have sun doesn't reach down like where they live, and we just joke like, Bassam, sun doesn't visit your area from 72. But now Bassam is laughing because it doesn't reach any place in the camp, you know, because when you build up, it will cover down. So it's, you know, it's dark. During the day, it's dark. You are just in small tunnel. And if you will get moblar or furniture you buy, you should from roof to roof, from roof to roof, because it doesn't, like sofa doesn't go inside the streets, and no cars go in, which is good, so not a lot of
But how many
noise.
people are living there?
Well, I left was 30,000, but now after the Syrian refugee, it become much more and more, because they come for us because we have a lot of experience. You know, we are from 48 refugee, so it's easier for them to learn how to survive, I think. And also, I don't know, like they are coming to take medicine from someone is already dead. You know, they come to the camp, and we already poor. We have nothing. And they come for us, and which make problem between, you know, we fight for the bread.
So now you have a sort of a school for how to survive as a refugee for new refugees that are coming.
Well, they should learn from us. We have the longest experience in this world. Yani, from 48 we have been refugee. I don't think there is any other nation having this situation except us. But I think we are the wrong nation to fight. We will never give up.
But now you are living here. How is that?
Well, because of my sister Nadia, and I came here because I get married. And well, I'm not going to lie, it's a dream for, okay, anyone who live in this situation, he want to change his life. That's the normal. You will tell me, okay, why you are not going back to Palestine? If you open one door for me, I would leave from this view to Palestine. But when you close all the border and you will shoot, because on the film also was a picture of my friend who was killed on the border with me. We were in demonstration and Shadel Anas. And he was killed there. We were just, shouting. But I shout really loud because Palestine looks so beautiful. It was first time I see it from far away also. Well,
so I think we're running out of time. No, sort of. So I just wanted to ask each one of you what your dreams are and what your hopes are for the film, or for the future, or for something big or something small. Like we can start with you, Mats, with the film. What are you hoping for? Because I was also thinking, you told me that in Norway, the United Nations, it's a part of some kind of a United Nations educational plan. That could be. I'm thinking that I would really like that to happen also here. But could you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, the film is being screened as part of a UN program in Norway now. So it's being screened at youth, like 16-year-olds. Also explaining like the history of Palestine with Israel. And there's discussion, what is anti-Semitism, what is the situation today for the Palestinians and in Israel. So it opens a discussion on what's going on, which is very good, I think. Well, part of the reason why I wanted to make this film was that I would like people in Europe to be more informed on, okay, these are also people, and it's also part of the equation. There needs to be a solution for the refugees. So that's my hope, that somehow there will be a solution for the refugees. And I do support the refugees' right to return, which is not, it's something that the UN gives to Palestinians, this right. Yeah, it's in the UN charters, or the right of return, which I support. And I think it's up to the Palestinians to decide if they want to go back or not. But the situation on the ground is what it is. So, what will happen, we will see. But I think 70 years is a long time in many ways, and it's also a short time. So, we can, as a human being, I think we can only hope for, and to work for what we feel is good and right. And then it will take the time it takes. That's
70 years is, of course, if you put it in that perspective, it is also a short time, but...
Yeah, well, it's easy for me to say, yes. I know.
Well, thank you, guys. If 70 years is your time.
Well, how old are you? You're not even 70.
No.
And Rui, how about you? Because, this was a very special collaboration, I think, for you. Or is that normally how you work? Or what are your plans?
Well, this was the first time that I worked like this. I joined the project as an illustrator. And then more and more I worked closely with Mats. And now we teamed up for the future. And what I really hope with this film is that when I see the situation that happens nowadays and people say refugees or something, there is not really an understanding of... it's just something abstract, and it's just someone out there who wants to get in somehow. And I would really hope that this film, in a way it's ironic, because I would like to ideally humanize people, and this is done via puppets, not via actors. So if I had anything I would like to, it's to just present a bit of a more human face. And it's not only because it's Palestinians. It's just, there's so many refugees in the world, and with climate change it will happen more. So I think this is my wish for this film.
Beautiful wish.
Yes.
And now the final word comes to you.
Well, I agree, and I think we will just keep doing something or scream, so we don't have more refugee. And it's enough with Palestinian. You don't need more in this world. As long, or we will wait until we solve our problems. But if not, then don't make it worth. That's it. And don't kill the hope.
Don't kill the hope. So thank you very much. And I think that now we want to thank you with even more, because we want to give you some flowers. And also, I would like Annika Hellström, who is the Swedish producer, to come up also and receive some thanks.